Hi, everyone. I'm Tracy Bates with Lorna Hennington with Bates Hennington Real Estate Group, and we are back with our fabulous Andy Christenot.
Yeah.
She is our mortgage guru. We love her. We refer all of our clients to her because she makes magic happen and makes
She's
it
the
happen.
money woman.
She's the money woman. She's the money woman, but she's here today to talk to us about credit scores because I was having a conversation with a client who didn't understand. And listen, I stay in my lane. Lorna, we stay in our real estate lane.
Right here.
Really
I'm not trying to be over here or over there.
Over there because Andy knows it. But was having a conversation about how credit scores are derived. Is a credit score that a lender pulls different than a credit score that a car dealership would pull? What is the difference? How is all of this stuff determined? And Andy, go talk to us about it.
Hi guys, good to see you. I'm in the office and you're not, but anyway, besides that, credit, yes, it's a big mystery. It's a big mystery for a lot of people. I've done this a really long time and it can sometimes be a mystery to me as well. Your question about credit report that I'm pulling versus a car dealership versus a credit card versus buying a cell phone, it's all different, or even credit monitoring sites are all different, right? There's a lot of variables that go into credit reporting. How or why or the rhyme or reason on how the bureaus capture somebody's score is a little bit of a mystery. Obviously, they're looking at paying your bills on time, the length of time that you've had credit, the number of accounts you have open, all of those things. The big difference is that when we're pulling your credit, when you're borrowing $200,000 to buy a home, $500,000 to buy a home, $2 million to buy a home, the credit report that we're pulling is a lot more extensive than if you go down to a car dealership to buy a car. They may only pull one bureau. They're not pulling all three bureaus. They're not necessarily concerned with your full extensive credit history or credit payment history at all. So the credit report's going to be different. I hear it all the time. I just went and bought a car. My score was 800, so on and so forth, or I monitor it on Credit Karma. The other factor that plays into it as well is the time that your credit is pulled. If I pull your credit in the middle of the month and your billing cycle, for instance, for your Amex card or your car payment is at the beginning of the month and you haven't yet paid your next month's payment, depending on when those creditors report your payment cycle and your billing cycle to the credit bureaus, that also plays into it. So lots of variables. My credit report is always going to be different. And there is more, I would say 99% of the time, there's a variation in score. Again, I'm pulling three bureaus, not one. So just food for thought. Be conscious of credit decisions that you're making, pay your bills on time. Don't necessarily go out and buy a new car if you're looking at buying a home.
Definitely don't.
Yeah, Andy, but the point about like when, how your credit score will fluctuate depending upon your billing cycle for certain, outstanding, credit lines that you have. So if somebody is going for a mortgage loan and you're going to be pulling their credit, do they need to like have that in mind? Like, oh, I have this, big car payment going on, or, oh, I have whatever. Do they need to think about that and think about that for your purposes?
Not necessarily. It just, it depends on somebody's circumstance. If somebody, let's say for instance, somebody has a Discover card that they just paid off, depending on when Discover reports to the bureaus is going to determine when it would reflect or report on my credit report. If they paid it off Tuesday and I pull their credit report on Thursday, it's probably not going to report. So,
right.
I mean, there's a lot of gray area. It just depends on somebody's circumstances. It depends on what we're talking about. Usually and generally speaking, it takes creditors, any sort of revolving line of credit, even student loans. Everybody's got a different reporting cycle on when they report to the bureaus. I wouldn't necessarily say that somebody should be really extra cautious about that and have that necessarily at the forefront of their mind. unless they're in a position where they're paying off major debts or they're purchasing a big purchase like a car.
Okay.
And before, bless you, Andy, before they do any of that, we always have our clients talk to you before they make any big moves. I mean, down to even if you're going to be getting a gift from a family member, the appropriate way to do that, and all of the debt to income ratio, that things that, you know, a car dealer's not thinking about. So thank you for letting our clients talk to you before they, you know, continue in the process, so they know what to do and what not to do.
100%. Even if somebody's thinking, if they think that they're 6 months or a year out, or even 2 years out from buying a home, it's important to certainly get a game plan and know what you need to do, what you need to focus on, and credit is a big piece of it. It's not the only piece of the loan puzzle, but it is a big piece of it. And there's a lot of misconception out there.
And they shouldn't keep secrets from you, because that'll
A good idea.
Yeah.
They shouldn't keep them from us either.
Yeah, but definitely not from Andy, because she's running the numbers, so she needs to know everything, right?
Right.
Transparency is key when you're looking to borrow money from to buy a house. I mean, we're gonna turn over every rock, and it's important to share with your lender every detail you can possibly think of. You certainly don't want to skirt around things like credit issues or job changes or any sort of major life events or things that are happening that would impact qualifying.
Yeah.
Surprise at the end is not good.
No.
Well, thank you so much, Andy, for joining us. You're wonderful. Again, Andy is with Movement Mortgage. You can reach her through us at experts@bateshennington.com. And also, don't forget, we are having an ADU, accessory dwelling unit seminar on the 26th next week at 7 p.m. If you'd like a Zoom invitation to that, it's absolutely free. There'll be a question and answer period. So if you're considering an ADU on your property, don't hesitate to contact, again, experts@bateshennington.com is the way to go. And plus all our phone numbers are all over our website, and blah, 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 blah.
And Andy does all kinds of financing. Do you do ADU financing, Andy? You do refinancing?
Refinancing. No, I mean, I don't want to get into the detail. There's a lot of different options. It depends on somebody's circumstances. There's, home equity lines of credit. You could refinance all different things. It depends on
the bottom line is that they could talk to you if they're interested in putting up an ADU or constructing one, and you can let them know what their options are.
Yes.
That is the bottom line.
That is.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Andy. Appreciate you. Love you.